Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Jeff and I are asking Brandy and Dave of Silver River Chairs the other 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out their interview on episode 580. So welcome back to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, well, before we get into the 5 other questions, we'll dip our toes in the woodworking news. So first up, y'all have a new book called The Woven Chair.
We do.
We're authors.
That's right. That's right.
Photographers.
So on our previous episode 580, we talk all about the book, and it is truly a great book and needs to be, if you're a chair maker, it needs to be in your library. If you even thought about being a chair maker, it needs to be in your library. So anyway, go out there and check it out. And like I said, there will be links in the show notes. So and the link I have for their chair, you can find the book at any of your book retailers of choice, but if you buy it from Silver River Chairs at their website, you will get a signed autographed copy of the book, which is well worth the extra couple of bucks.
And a bookmark.
And a bookmark. Hey, we're throwing in a bookmark here.
Yes.
So and I've seen those bookmarks. Those are pretty cute. I like that.
Oh, we've
nice.
got coming.
Those are nice. Those are nice. So with that, talking about new books, Lost Art Press has a new book out on making fresh milk paint. So,
Yep.
And it's a book. I've already ordered a copy. Hopefully it'll get here soon. But I think we've talked about it before. But Nick Kroll has written a book about how to make milk paint out of making your own. I guess it's a whey that you make. And so it's not. Yeah, it's not, the standard milk paint where it's powders and all of this kind of stuff that you mix together with water. This is actually making I think it's called a whey, and they go through on how to make that, which is a real simple process, and then adding pigments. And apparently you get a really nice paint out of it. It's a little bit more creamier and nice. And everyone that has used it has said, rave results. So I can't wait to get that book in and give it a shot.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's real similar to the I guess the actual product that you make the milk paint out of. It's real similar to a cheese, like a farmer's cheese, if you've heard of a farmer's cheese. So pretty interesting. And also Lost Art Press has a new glue out. It's fish stick glue. So this is I like this. This is, they had their own hide glue that they came out with called the Piggly No Wiggly, and this is a fish-based glue. That's called the fish stick glue. So it doesn't have to be heated. It flows at room temperature like a PVA glue or something like that, and has an even longer open time of 90 minutes. So I'm interested in giving that a try too. So,
yeah, that sounds pretty. Not heating it up, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty cool to try that out.
yeah. So anyway, I guess, it needs more clamp time than, other things. I think they want like 12 hours of clamp time and stuff like that. But I don't know. I usually, when I'm doing glue ups, I'm usually putting them in clamps and leaving them overnight. It's usually the last thing I do before I leave the shop. So that shouldn't be an issue for me. So anyway, but go out there and check that out. And next up, Woodpecker. Wouldn't be woodworking news if we didn't make a stop over at Woodpeckers. And they have the Steady Curve 2.0. And they had the Steady Curve as a template guide for advanced. And you really need to go out and look at this thing to see what it is. But they had one before, and I thought that one was really interesting. They made some improvements. And basically it has magnets that the old one had like 2 magnets, like those mag switch magnets that were embedded into it to lock it down to your cast turntable. This one just has one magnet and has a little lever that flips it. So it looks a little bit more easier to set up. And also, I think the other one was they have these little template guides that fit onto the end of it. So basically, what the thing is if you have a template on top of your work, then this kind of captures the blade and rides against that template. So it's kind of like pattern routing on a router table, except you're doing it on your bandsaw. And and the previous version, I think, only had template guides up to like I want to say,
Yeah, there's just two of them or something.
yeah,
There's
I think it's
four
quarter.
smaller ones. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And this one,
blades that I don't get involved with.
yeah, same with me. And this one, you can get template guides for 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. So looks pretty good. It's right now it's for
179.
yeah, $180, and I think it includes the 1/8 and 1/4 inch template guides. And then if you want to buy the bigger guides, a 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch, those are $8, and you get 2 of them. So $8 for 2 of them. So yeah, so you're talking not that much for those little template guides. So looks pretty
it looks
interesting.
Like
Because I was thinking about
your own.
air seats, you clamp a template on and just run it through the band, having to follow that line so closely,
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing, maybe it was like 6 months or 8 months ago, for that whole steady curve kind of came through. I saw Brian Boggs kind of showing how he does it.
Yeah.
Bandsaw and everything. I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. Then when I saw woodpeckers, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I'm not, real huge on getting a lot of woodpecker stuff in my shop, but some of the stuff they make is this is pretty cool. The bandsaw guide, I would get that. I do enough stuff that needs to go from the bandsaw to the router table that this would be worth it.
Yeah.
For that price. I think it's a pretty good, I think it's one of those tools too, where, that little guide that you could make your own. I could, with a plastic insert,
Yeah, because I think Brian Boggs, he has a bunch of videos out there and stuff like that going, and you can look at what he's done, and it's very similar to this. But it's like, hey, can you make something like that? Yeah, it depends on, you want to spend the time to make it, or you want to spend $180 and
just be done with it.
Just be done with it, and especially with the magnetic stuff. You're not having to clamp it and those kind of things. That's kind of a nice creature comfort. So anyway, but yeah, check that out. It's pretty interesting. With that, we want to thank our patrons. So today we're giving a big shout out to Garrett Basil Furniture. And if you would like to support us like Garrett, go out there to patreon.com/MWA podcast. And thank you so much for your support, Garrett. And now we're moving on to the 5 other questions. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay. So what tools are you considering adding to your shop and studio?
Well, we are still adding tools that we lost. So, aside from the things that we need, something that would be special and not what we do, I would like a fro. I would like a bandsaw and a kiln. I would like to build a kiln. Okay, nice.
Those are all great things. I would also like those things. I was thinking we have this great, it's a flat braider. So it does flat braided cord. And I've been trying to figure out a way to, because normally it's coming off of the braider and then into a bucket. I would love to be able to figure out a way to automatically spool it. And so I've been looking at all these automatic spooling things that run off of a small motor or tension and something like that. So that's not an off the shelf tool buy, but it's something that, late at night, I'm thinking of and planning.
He's a mechanical engineer.
That's right. So you're looking at these things going, okay, how can I make something similar to this, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
How to over-engineer this.
Yeah. Exactly. And coming soon on your website is going to be the silverware spooler.
So number 2. So are there any changes you'd like to make to your shop or your space workflow?
Well, it's hard to say that because we're so grateful to have a space to work in. After losing ours last year to flood, I think Dream Space would have more outdoor work area, covered barn type scenario, and potentially for workflow, I would like to do less admin. I would like to do no admin and all creative endeavors.
I second that.
That is a very good answer. I can't even.
I think that's my biggest hindrance to workflow is administrative
admin.
Yeah.
Well, I would say when we're teaching classes, there are, project elves that show up at night and, do tie-offs for people and, kind of finish and correct mistakes. So I need to figure out how to get those guys to show up when we're not there.
Nice.
Change the workflow. I'll work on my summoning skills and go from there.
There you go. How many students can you fit in your new space?
Well, we just had 12 high school
Okay.
students. So
That's
that
a
was
So that's like 24 regular adults then.
I don't know, it was Halloween costumes, so there were wings involved. But yeah, we like 5. 5 is a good number.
Yeah.
Not afraid to teach
Yeah.
just one person either. We want everybody to learn. So yeah,
Okay.
5 is ideal.
Cool. Well, let me ask you this. Is there question number 3? Is there a technique you would like to learn or a class that y'all would like to take?
Yeah, I would like to get better at the hand tools. As far as classes that I would like to take, like how much time do we have? I do have kind of like my short list is making a Windsor with David Duyard, anything with John Grant or Takyoshino. So that involves traveling to Tasmania and Japan. I'd like to make a Welsh stick chair. And I'd really like to get together with David Johnson of Sidecar Furniture and go see a Jeopardy taping out in LA.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang, I just want to tag along, which is kind of how this works, I suppose.
Yeah.
Brandy spent some time with chairmaker Kevin in Orkney, and I would like to get there. He does Orkney chairs, and the weaving technique is one thing, but also the chair construction itself is really unique as well. So it's kind of using very limited resources to create something that is super unique.
Okay, cool.
All right, question number 4. What are your favorite types of seat weaving material to work with?
I like really the stuff that's everywhere but really hard to harvest. And like you were saying in the last episode about, I forget if the podcast had started, it's like when you're using hickory bark, you can't just like start weaving with it. There's
Right.
hours of soaking
Thin it
involved,
out.
thinning it out. So it's always stressful to do in a class setting or to do on a deadline. But I do like that work. It feels more authentic than getting manufactured stuff. But I do like weaving the lace cane, the hand woven caning. It's that repetitive motion, meditative process. And at this point, I'm not saying we're mistake free because we always make mistakes. But we can just do it and put AirPods in and listen to an audiobook or our latest episode of MWA podcast, whatever. So it's fun to do the kind of, I wouldn't call them mundane, but the stuff that we're used to, that we can just work with our hands and also listen to something and absorb content.
Yeah, you have the muscle memory for it and just boom.
Mm-hmm.
You took the words out of my mouth. Muscle memory.
Yeah.
I'm going to say maybe not my favorite material, but a material that I'm excited about at the moment. And the only reason it's not my favorite is that we don't get to use it very often. But there are some leather straps out of South Africa called rimpies, and they're treated with an aluminum sulfate. I think I got that right. So that it's real white, and they're usually used on these really specific South African chairs. So we're importing that material directly from South Africa, and it's fun to work with because it's so it's like the niche within a niche within a niche type thing. It's so specific.
Yeah.
And that's the only place we can find it.
Yeah, or is there special techniques working with leather versus other materials?
This, in general, yes. This material, you don't really have to do anything with.
Okay.
With rawhides and things like that, you have to treat it, you have to soak it and everything. But it's really pretty user friendly. The treatment process that it goes through once that's done, it's you literally just weave it onto the chair. And it's a cool material.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cape Dutch furniture.
Okay, nice. I'll have to look that up. That now you said it's white. Can you get it in other colors, or is it just mainly?
It is super white,
Okay.
like very, and that is due to the treatment.
Treatment. Okay.
That's the only color it comes in. They do a rawhide version,
Mm-hmm.
but then it doesn't have, like, the reason they treat it is so it lasts longer and the bugs and things like that don't try to get after it.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay, all right. And where do you say I can look that up at again?
Cape Dutch furniture, or Rimpie's, RIEMPIE.
Okay, cool. Well, last question. So, what is your current go-to finish? Y'all do a lot of repair work and some stuff of that nature. So, I was just wondering, do y'all have a finish at hand that y'all is your go-to finish, or is it more dependent on what you're working on?
It depends on what we're working on, but more often than not, we are not refinishing as much as we are cleaning up a finish that's already there, or we're working with raw wood. So a big fan of Howard Feed and Wax. It's an orange oil and beeswax. It's super user friendly, with a little bit of steel wool and some abrasion. You can clean up scratches, you can clean up paint flecks, all these things, and it can really transform, especially if your piece is a little dry. It totally transforms the look. The chair looks happy, it's glowing. So that's what we use more often than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, the Windsor I'm sitting in needs to be quote unquote refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 15 years old, and hey, it's still working. But yeah, the finish is definitely. Let's put it this way: the seat looks totally different than the stretchers and the legs.
It's a lot of podcast episodes.
Exactly. Well, cool. Well, with that, where can folks find y'all on the interwebs?
Yeah, we're on Instagram and YouTube at Silver River Chairs. Facebook, we're on there as well, Silver River Center for Chair Caning, and www.silverriverchairs.com, our brand new website. You can buy our book and Chair Nerds Never Say Die t-shirts, sign up for classes. There's a resources page where you can find suppliers, places to stay when you come to Asheville. It's been as long of a project as our book. Check it out.
Exactly. It's a beautiful website. And like I said, listeners, go out there and grab their book, The Woven Chair. It's going to be a great addition to your woodworking library. So thank you so much, Dave and Brandy, for joining us once again. And can't wait for the next book. And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.